you fucking say something now that'll get us death threats. What do you think?
I mean, I still plan to do a really intense video on this where I'll break down some specific stuff, and all, so I can talk at length on that. In terms of right now, first of all, what I would say is, like, my actual comment was, like, it's not that there haven't been other clips, it's that there's never been anything close to, like, this many suspicious clips from other people.
No,
like, we're not talking about Flusha has twice as many. We're talking about Flusha has 15 times as many suspicious clips as anyone else we've ever found in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And it's not the same. Here's what I hate about discussions on the internet, Richard, is that you get people who join the discussion and they're the equivalent of someone joining, like, imagine World of Warcraft. Okay, I don't know much about MMOs, but I'll give you my reference from one. Okay, imagine someone joining a forum about World of Warcraft, and in the forum there's all these people who are level 78. I don't know how high it goes. 78. Okay, all the people level 78 are discussing like how you do a certain thing, and someone joins and he's level 2, and he goes, "Well, see, the thing about that is what you guys don't realize is," and then says something that famously everyone who's level 2 says. And what happens is once you get to level 4, everyone who was level 2 realized, oh, wait, that doesn't make sense, actually. I've just learned a bit about the game, and now I'll say something different. And then you put level 10, learn something different in the set. The problem with every discussion on these sorts of topics is the same fucking moron thinks he's cracked it and says the same piece of rhetoric everyone has heard without stopping to think whether it's true. So here's the thing that everyone says, Richard. Well, the only reason there's so many clips of Flusha is because everyone thinks Flusha cheats and goes, look at it. No, that's called cart before the horse, my friend. What happens is every time, here's how someone caught Flusha the first time in a suspicious clip. He was playing in a game, someone noticed something suspicious, they brought it up to the public. The public then looked for more instances, found more instances, said, wow, these are suspicious, found more instances. More instances happened after that. They started cataloging them all. You see, it didn't work the way you said. It worked the other way around. They found the clips, then they found more clips, then they found more. They didn't invent clips and find them and go crazy. So what happens every other time someone does a suspicious clip? Same thing. Config does a suspicious clip, right? People go back in time. They found another clip. But you know what? They had to stop there. They could only find, no matter how many they had, 2 or 3 config clips. Now, Existence had a clip on Dust 2 where he aim locked through someone on the wall. You think no one went look for clips? Of course they did. They couldn't find any more. Shocks had some clips. I think he's had about 5 clips now. Even Shocks, who's played 1 million games, had insane clips. Only 5 or so clips. The point is, everyone has tried the same thing with these players, and everyone is still watching their live games. Remember, every live Counter-Strike game, even online, has like 20K viewers. No one is seeing these clips. No one is cataloging them. No one is even making idiotic HL3E threads about these aim locks. They don't exist. Flusha is the only one with this scope and scale and portfolio of insanely suspicious clips. And that's the other thing. His clips aren't just suspicious. Some of them are like bafflingly suspicious to where I can go to people who are more knowledgeable than I am, who are experts in Counter-Strike or experts in cheats, and they go, if you ask me how this is done legit, I don't know how it's done. Now, then you can add in all the other rhetoric. Well, how is he doing it? How's he cheating? I don't know that. That's not what you're asking me. You're asking me, look at this clip, and here's the key thing. Forget who the name is. Look at the clip and tell me, is that suspicious? Now, notice I don't say the person's cheating because I don't know about cheats. All I can tell you is, if I had to look into a cheater, the first thing I'd ask is the person suspicious? If they're not, I probably won't invest time and effort into looking into it. So on the scale of is the person suspicious, Flusha is like maxing out the fucking red end of the scale where the arrow can't hit anymore on suspicious as fuck. Some of these clips are fucking ludicrous. Now, does that mean he's a cheater? He should be kicked out of tournaments? No, it doesn't mean any of those things. It just means I wish there was somewhere we could know. I wish there was somewhere we could investigate it more. And I have a few ideas for how we could, but they're so abstract and they're not actual like practical things we can apply. That again, I'll save those for the video when I do it eventually. But yeah, I would say he is the most, put it this way, if legit, he is the most suspicious legit player in the history of Counter-Strike, and I've watched 15 years of it.
Yeah. And you know, I think that's a good summary. I do want to add the caveat that, you know, I as I said, never going to accuse anyone blindly. I think I wouldn't want to damage anyone's reputation or career. But I think at this stage, I think enough people make the allegation. Enough people do think he's suspicious. And therefore, I don't think I'm saying anything anyone else isn't. And I'm like you. I couldn't explain the hows. I
actually just to
if
give
I can explain the hows, then we can, reverse engineer the solution.
No, here's the key thing, Richard. I'm actually someone who believes in the I don't have beliefs like that, but my general philosophy on life is that unless you can actually be shown to have done something illegal that breaks a rule, and then it's proven that you did it, unless there's like really good evidence for all of this, then you should not be convicted of the crime. As in, I'm not one of those people who's like, well, it doesn't matter if you catch a few innocent people, as long as you get all the criminals. No, I think that's actually morally wrong. So if there was a criminal who did tell me, you know what, I actually did murder this person, but he told me in private, and publicly he never said that, and publicly they couldn't link him to the evidence, and it was only circumstantial. Even though I knew in private he'd done it, I would say, well, then you probably should go free then. I'm sorry, like it's fucked up, but unfortunately no one could prove the case. So in this scenario, even though I think it's super suspicious, I wouldn't be in favor of banning Flusha. I wouldn't be in favor of him like just being kicked out, or people saying, oh, well, these are suspicious clips. Unless they can catch him cheating. That's the key thing. The past doesn't even matter anymore. We're never going to get that. They have to catch him in the future cheating for this to be the case. And again, absolutely. I'm not even certain he is cheating. I just don't understand these clips. And as a side point, one thing that does infuriate me is how impossibly shit the official explanation for all the clips are. They're so impossibly shit, it's unreal. They don't even have a good cover story or alibi. Like their explanations don't even make sense. Like as in, my hand hit the keyboard. Shut the fuck up, you idiot. 15 times in a row. Get up my face. 3 times in a key match where you're going to be eliminated from a major you made it to the final of on the weakest match.
I read one post, I read one post, dude, where it was like this guy was like, I have studied. Oh, fuck me. It was all right. I have studied Flusha's setup and his sensitivity and DPI combined to this, which mean that he actually plays with his wrist and makes a movement like this. And by doing that, that means that he can't go to the places. And it's like, yeah, but that doesn't explain ever why the crosshair would land on someone repeatedly. It just doesn't explain that.
Okay,
so what the fuck are you even talking about, you fucking retard?
Fanatic organization, do you want to help Flusha's case seem better? Okay, get a camera, put it on Flusha while he plays a whole match. You're not going to find a name lock. Just find me a moment where his mouse bumps against his keyboard. Because that's supposed to have happened 20 times now. Just find me one moment where that happens. Even that would start to make a circumstantial case that makes it seem more reasonable. Yeah, exactly. And it's the thing where all the tournament organizers that are doing all these great, measures back fucking stage, which are grotesquely over exaggerated, by the way, outside of Valve official tournaments. I'm not fully convinced we're doing everything that we say we're doing. Right, but where is well, we've actually we put a secret keylogger on, and we found there was no untoward pushing of buttons that wouldn't be explained or anything like that. Why aren't we filming players' hands? Why is no one ever coming out publicly and going, we did spot checks on PCs and found nothing? Because you're right, there is a scenario in this where Flusha is just an innocent guy who's been incredibly unlucky. And I guess in an infinite universe, anything's possible, right? So he's been incredibly unlucky a bunch of times. No one's come out to help him. They've let him handle it himself. He's not the most outgoing person. I know, I've done interviews with him. And I lift my mouse a lot. And everyone's like, what the fuck is that, dickhead? That doesn't even make any sense. So they've let him further wreck himself and set himself up to be a laughing stock. So, yeah, people should be coming out, Whatever happened with these drug tests, by the way? What happened to them? Where did the drug tests go? People come out and say, we did drug tests and we didn't find anyone. That happens in athletics. That's not happening anymore. We pretend we fix a problem and then we hope everyone forgets that it was ever a fucking problem, whether it was a problem or not. Like the reason why this whole topic has come up as well is because of that ESPN article. That line triggered me so hard because it was so wrong. Like, think about this. That's another point I always make. So no, he's not. He doesn't cheat. He's just good. Where the fuck is the Kenny S clips? Kenny S was at one point in time probably the best CSGO player, as in at that moment that we've ever seen. Yeah. He was literally every game, online, offline, just dropping 30, doing fucking no-scopes on the 2 people, winning 1v4s, picking someone every round mid on dust. Like, the stuff he was doing was unreal. There are no clips of Kenny S ever.
Yeah.
There is a
Well,
wide
the thing is,
existence.
though, I have studied his sensitivity, Duncan, and being a high sensitivity player with a large Razor Mantis mouse mat, and the fact that he holds the mouse using his middle finger further forward than his index finger, which in the Indian text, the Kama Sutra, means that he is a superior lover. This means that actually it is physically impossible for his crosshair to ever lock onto anyone through a wall. So I've explained it. And now I'm going to go outside and talk to aliens. Like, what the fuck is going on? How did the community get this fucking stupid?
But what I have figured out, Richard, though, it did help. That article did solve one problem for me. I've realized now why over 1 month into there being an esports section of ESPN, I've solved the problem, guys. You know, you're always wondering to this day, why is there still not a CSGO section on ESPN? Well, through their incredible investigative journalism, which as far as I can tell, ESPN's CSGO journalist department is sort of like that TV show Cold Case, where they go and find really old cases that were never solved and they start investigating them again. But they just come to the same conclusions. What happened is, through this cold case of shit from years ago, they found out that everyone in CS, everyone is a drug addict and a cheater. Therefore, they're not going to endorse cheating, which obviously isn't a sport, and they haven't given us a section. Instead, they're sticking with good, wholesome family values like Hearthstone, where they say, well met, sir, and play cards that you just bought that make you win the game. Anyone
I told you, man, there's that games journalist, what's he called, Jeb Whittaker or whatever, who wrote an article saying that the Hearthstone emote system can be abused to trigger people. So, I mean...
Mate, I've raped at least 7 women just using that. I've harassed them. I've made some of them commit suicide. Some of them, actually, when I said well met, they thought I was referring to their gender, and they were very questioning about that. And actually, they just took their own lives. But you know what, man? I'm unrepentant, and I'll do it again if I get the chance to.
Oh, I can't do it anymore. I just need a holiday, man.
Just the edgiest show ever, isn't it?
It's too much, dog. Anyway, right, so like all of this bullshit about Flusha, I'm only really bringing it up just to show that we had the balls to fucking talk about it when everyone else won't. And you got people like ESPN coming out and being, don't want to lose that interview with Fnatic. I fucking respect every player on Fnatic. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't talk about topical things in the community. That's what I do. I know every player on Fnatic respects and understands that. And I don't think there'll be a problem when I see them in the future. Anyway, let's talk about something good from Fnatic. Olaf Meister